Forgot to do the weather, but I got it. So, welcome to News Stripped Down, where I dig through the news and weed out the nonsense so you guys don't have to. 30 minutes or less. Why? Because anything longer than that is probably just BS, anyways. Oh man, I really didn't prep this camera properly. Okay, so where I dig through the news and weed out all the nonsense so you guys don't have to. Today it's +6. Yeah, we're getting into the pluses. It's starting to feel a bit warmer. There's no breeze or anything outside today, so pretty nice. Sun's out. Normally it's always windy as hell here. And yeah, 6 degrees Celsius, that's 41 degrees Fahrenheit to you guys down in the States. And let's start off with things that happened today in history. 1429, the English siege of Orleans was broken up by Joan of Arc and the French army. Joan of Arc, the woman soldier who led the French army. I don't know. There's lots of Joan of Arc references out there, but that was in 1829, or sorry, 1429, long time ago. Still in the history books. And May 7th, 1867, Swedish chemist Alfred Nobel patents dynamite in England. One of his first of three patents that he has in explosive materials. Yeah, that was the first one of his three patents. And then, although gunpowder is older than that, you're going back to like 850 AD. There's actual real no definite date, but its first known use in battle was in 904 AD. So I don't know, 1867, and then before Christ. And what's funny is it didn't even take 100 years after it was invented to start using it in warfare. They couldn't find some other better use for it. And then Alfred Nobel, like, I don't know, dude. Kind of rolling around in your grave right now, be like, was this what you're expecting things? And then what would he think of the nuclear bomb? Wouldn't that be crazy? Imagine if Alfred Nobel was alive and he'd see like the nuclear bomb go off. That'd just be crazy. So yeah, Swedish chemist patented dynamite 1867. Then 1945, May 7th, German Third Reich General Alfred Jody signs documents of surrender. It still wasn't the end of World War II or the European War. There's still a lot of stragglers that happened, but this is like signed papers. So yeah, the things were starting to progress right there. And then in May 7th, 1952, the concept of the integrated circuit was published by Jeffrey Dummer, not Jeffrey Dahmer, Jeffrey Dummer. And then the first time it was actually used, this technology or this theory, like it was kind of just an idea of a integrated circuit. But the first people that really took advantage of it was Texas Instruments in September 1958, where they first produced the microchip. And then Fairchild Semiconductors made their first version of a silicon or a computer chip using silicon, which we know as today as the better version of a microchip. And they had done that a year later in 1959. And then Texas Instruments is still around today. And then, well, Fairchild like kind of split into different sections. Fairchild turned into like companies like Intel, AMD, and then some ON semiconductor company ended up purchasing the rest of Fairchild in 2016. So that's quite a jump from 1952 to where we are right now when it comes to computer chips. But just think about the timeline. It almost took 10 years after base of concept of even just thinking of making a microchip for a company. Well, it took 10 years before it came to like an actual working prototype. Hey, CDG, what's up? No, I don't pay attention. 30 minutes or less, because anything longer than that's BS. So that's why I don't hop into chats. Please feel free to leave comments after, though, man. I will try and catch up to the comments after I'm done, though. And then Today, May 7th, 2017, Emmanuel Macron wins the France's presidential election, which he still is in power to this day. So, and then in May 7th, 1824, Ludwig van Beethoven, Symphony Number 9 was first played in Vienna, Austria. And 1992 today, jockey Angel Coronado retires after winning 7,057 races as a jockey. Oh my goodness. I bet you that guy is tore up. I almost guarantee that guy is tore up. Be like, man, my life sucks. He's probably in a wheelchair if he's even still alive, man. Those jockeys, they live a hard life. I don't think people realize how hard it is to do that. Just getting pounded around all day. Wow. And then famous birthdays in 1711, Scottish, oh sorry, Scottish David or sorry, Scottishman, David Hume, philosopher. He was like a major part when it came to philosophy to like the Western world. So yeah, pretty significant guy in history. He passed in 1776, which is kind of ironic because he had like a major part of how the Western world is like kind of thinks, and then he passed in 1776, significant number, and then he died at 65. And then in 1840, Russian, I'm gonna butcher his name. I'm pretty sure it's Tchaikovsky, famous composer, Russian composer, Tchaikovsky. Yeah, he's really famously known for the 1812 Overture. I can hear it in my head, but I couldn't explain it to you. But really good song if you guys like old like good real music. I wouldn't necessarily a lot of these guys who wrote this music wrote it themselves though. And then in 1919, Ava Person, she was the first lady of Argentina. She didn't live very long. She passed in 1952 at the age of 33. Yeah, first lady of Argentina. Yeah, she didn't last long. And then 1933, Johnny Unitas, famous NFL player, he passed in 2002 at the age of 69. And then 1950 today, Tim Russert, sorry, he passed in 2008 at the age of 58. He was a famous news broadcaster, mostly known for Meet the Press. You guys don't remember? Happy Thursday, everyone. We're almost there to the end of the week. It matters to anybody. Uh, and then yeah, today, May 7th, 1998, at the age of 28, Jimmy Donaldson. I kind of want to finish the rest of his name, but I don't think this guy needs any more hype than what he has already. You, if I said Jimmy, you'd probably know who I'm talking about. Especially if you're in the internet world and the YouTube world. Yeah, this person only has like 40 million subs. And the stuff he's doing to the world right now and the deals he's making with the Rothschilds, something wrong. And what's really funny, he's the only celebrity in that list right now who's alive. So there's obviously something kind of significant about that too. Sorry, a little bit of mad scientist conspiracy theory there. Now let's get right into the fucking news here. Calgary, Alberta's Suncor Energy is going to be starting giving payable paybacks. Sorry, I'm just getting hyped up already. So Suncor Energy is giving back some payables as of June 25th, with their shareholders seeing about 60 cents per share owned. But really, at the end of who's going to see the benefit of this? Why are they even announcing this? It's like, hey, look at we're making money right now. So yeah, like the little guy at the end of the day, like really these like at home day brokers and stuff like that. Wow, that's 60 cents a share. How much like the only people who are going to make the money from this is the high level CEOs. They're just sitting there laughing and like of course they're going to take this money, and it's a Trojan horse. They're thinking you're getting something, but the only people who are winning are at the top anyways. Like, I don't even know. Like, and people say, like, wow, look at Suncor. They're giving back. Giving back what? Anyone? Anyone giving back what? Bueller? Is Bueller here? Because I don't hear Bueller in the room here right now. And like these big companies like Suncor and, sorry, Calgary Suncor, you're not the only one. Shell Fuel just announced that, hey, yeah, we're making record profits right now. Well, no shit. I wonder why. Are you going to give any of that back? Well, no, of course not. Why would we do that? Like, this is just insane. And then over to China. This is people are gonna go ape crazy. Be like, whoa, look at what China's doing. Look at what China's doing. Yeah, just wait a minute. Wait a minute. So China just announced that they just powered up a 500 megawatt solar array system. Okay, just wait. And further, by the end of this year, they're going to add another 1.5 gigawatts by wind power by the end of this year. Okay? And this is all to power a data center. Okay, think about this solar array. Think about how large this solar array is. Now you got to start asking your questions. Okay, what happened to all the farmland? Okay, there's one question. And then what happened to all the people? And then, what's going on here? Like, is this why China built all these like mega cities that are abandoned? They're expecting to just pick people up and move them. And now it's just they're gonna have to rely on more outside resources to be able to sustain their people with food and resources like that. But this is crazy. And then data centers on top of that. Okay, look at what we're listening to in the news right now. Look at what our data centers are up to. And these are to power multiple data centers, these power stations. What's China up to? We don't get to hear what they're up to, but we're hearing like just the littlest part of what they want us to hear. Like this whole controversy of what is it not, I can't remember the AI technology company, but they're going hard after them right now because they won't sign an agreement with the Pentagon. Now they're asking to like stop funding them, stop funding their research and stuff like that. And what was that? Mythos? What was that? Something AI Mythos ended up escaping its containment system. Imagine what's happening in China now. So like, wow, they're using solar energy to power their data centers. How does that make a difference? And then people are going to look at this and be like, well, we should do that. That sounds like a good idea. Well, first of all, it's to power data centers. Is it working in the United States? Is it working in other countries right now, building all these data centers? People are in an uproar. And like to sit there and people think that this is a good idea. No, could work. No, it's not going to work. And then, oh my goodness. Yeah, and then back over to Canada. Canada Natural Resources beats its profit expectations. Wow. Wow. Really? No shit again. Really, I wonder why Canada's natural resources are picking up. Like, hello, we're not seeing any benefit from it. Why are we even talking about it in the news? Like, this is all I can find. Well, except for what Tolga sent me here. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, I've been hearing about this too. Gold trades and stuff happening a lot right now. Let's just get right into the top here. So Stats Canada in a report is showing the rise in precious metals being exported mostly to the UK right now. And we're talking about the UK and EU, okay? So right now what's happening, there's a major fluctuation. You can see this happening through multiple countries, and you see this in the past when it comes to a conflict. And like, here, I'll get into that part after, but always when you see a conflict, you're going to see the price of gold rise and stuff, and you're going to see countries start fluctuating gold within each other. And it's a thing that happens. And normally when they get caught doing this, they're like, it's to bolster up our industry and our country. It's for so we have some financial backing. But we never actually get to see any financial backing produced from that gold. It doesn't make any sense. But like right now, France, so this is a couple weeks ago, France just took a bunch of gold from the United States, pulling their reserve from there and then taking it back over to the UK, to obviously, or not to the UK, to another EU country, and then traded it for better gold. How does that make sense? How can you like, okay, so now, so obviously something's happening at the EU right now, like some internal fighting, or the EU is at a point right now where they're starting to struggle, without having other countries a part of the EU. Like, and the EU is kind of struggling already, but France and stuff pulling their money out of the US, this isn't a direct result of what's happening like between the US and France. This is a direct result of what's happening between EU and EU members. So people say like, wow, okay, like the US is struggling because France pulled their gold out. That's not what's happening. France is struggling right now. The EU is struggling right now. So they're going to bolster up all the gold they can right now. And then with this extra demand that's happening because of the conflict in Iran, it just puts the EU in a worse place right now, because now they're trying to figure out how they're going to get resources like natural gas, propane, and their fuels. Some countries are already telling people, if you can stay at home, just please stay at home. And it's just that right now. And then before you know it, we're going to be back to the pandemic ways. And this was already called out like way before the pandemic. Once the pandemic happened, people are like, oh yeah, that energy crisis isn't ever going to happen. Well, it's happening right now, and we've known about this for years, and just nobody did anything about it. And then don't be worried about what Europe's doing with their gold and stuff right now. Kind of just keep an eye on what's happening over here on the west side right now, because there's going to be a lot of gold fluctuation, definitely in the EU right now, because they're almost at their wits end, and that's all I can really say. Like, I'd say up shit creek without a paddle. And yeah, they're struggling. And so yeah, you're gonna see a lot of gold getting transferred between all that stuff. Yeah, this is gonna be a mess for Europe. Just period. Just as conflict alone and what's happening with fuel costs, it's just gonna be a mess. I can almost predict right now we're gonna start to see the EU start to separate from each other. We're gonna see it start breaking up again. And that's exactly what they want. They want us to start breaking up. Like, they're doing it with our religion and other things too. Why can't we do that with a country or a group like the EU? It's not hard. You just get the people fighting against each other. And what's the best way of doing that? Here, let's cut their oil and gas off. That's a good way to set them apart from each other. And not only that, and maybe I'll have the bigger stick. Then maybe I could get some benefit out of it. It's just the way the world is happening right now. But I hope I explained everything enough for you guys. Upside down clown world. What? Okay, whatever. Well, that's just my view on the news. Reading between the lines, what's happening right now, and yeah, a lot of people freaking out, especially in the gold. You see a lot of gold and silver getting traded right now, and I don't know. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help you. Like, and most of the people right now that I know, they're selling their gold and silver, which is a stupid idea. Like, the whole point of having gold and silver right now is to hold on to it in case something bad happens. And now people say like, wow, they see the dollar signs. This is how they're going to get the rest of the money from us and go to a digital currency. It's happening. Like, I'm not bullshitting you guys. It's happening. This is just a way to sucker the rest of the gold and silver away from the people's hands. So I wouldn't be paying attention too much about what's happening over there when it comes to gold and silver. Watch how much exports your country is moving right now. Like, and that's why Canada exports in precious metals right now is up high, is because the EU is going to start taking whatever they can right now, and you have to realize you can only take so much. Like, some of this is set aside for that country, some of this is set aside for that country. It's set aside. You can't just jump in and be like, okay, this is how much gold I want, blah blah blah. It's a regulated market. Like, so many countries have already spoken for it. Which also fluctuates the gold market too, because it's like diamonds. You know how many diamonds there are in the world right now, but they limit the amount of diamonds that go to market, which keeps the value high. Why do you think De Beers got into the diamond market? It was De Beers who actually like really invented the diamond ring because they had all these like precious materials and they had no way of marketing it. So the wedding band was invented. And now what's a diamond worth on a wedding band? Now they're worth a lot of money. And this is there's there's a vault down in the States and it's just full of diamonds just sitting there, like probably billions of dollars worth of diamonds, and it just sits there. Diamonds don't go anywhere, but it's not used as currency. It's not like Fort Knox. Okay, like even they say the Fort Knox since what 2000, what was that, 2010, where they did the investigation because China was importing, or they found that there was Chinese gold being sold between countries that was either tungsten, gold-plated tungsten, and then it ended up becoming, what is it, the tungsten gate, something, the tungsten gate. I have that written down on another page here. But even so, like no one's been able to audit the Fort Knox since, what was it, 1953 was the last time that Fort Knox was actually audited. So nobody actually does know how much gold is in there. Even when they did that 2010 thing, they couldn't prove nothing. They wouldn't even let them in certain vaults. And then the vault they did let them in, it was like, look, there's the gold. It's like, okay, let's go. Like, really, you're gonna trust your politicians to just be like, I'm a politician that you can trust? I'll go to Fort Knox and they'll let me in, and I'll prove to all of you that it's real. Here, open up one door. See, it's there. Okay, everyone happy? Let's rock and roll. That's the world. But people need to realize that. Don't take everything at face value. You think you're getting a gift, and you're not. And it's like Suncor right now giving the 60 cents per share back. The only people who are going to make the money, like make big money off of that, are the people at the top, the CEOs. They're going to be laughing at all the little guys. Like, and that's what they're doing. But the little guys are right there sitting there like, I made money on the stock market today. That's like playing the VLTs. You put in $1,000, a video lottery machine, or you go to the casino, you put in $100, and then you win $20. It's like, well, I won $20. Yeah, but you just lost 80. See, this is the mentality of the world right now. Everyone thinks they're getting something and they're not. And we need to start focusing on what we can change to do that. But like stop taking everything at face value. Like, and then even when you go to the store, ask, hey, could I get a discount on that? I will give you 10%. Well, it's 10% I couldn't have got before. But if I didn't ask, try start doing that in stores. Hey, could I get a discount on that? See how many places will give you a discount. Most places will just give you a 10% discount. Customer appreciation. Stores put stuff like that aside. But they just don't tell you because they don't want every fucking redneck and Susie going and doing it. And I wouldn't just go up there with, $200 worth of groceries and be like, hey, could I get 10% off? That's not what I'm saying. It's like, is there a specific item I, see on the shelf and be like, could you knock off 10%? Like everything has a value and it's not the face value. You can always ask for something cheaper. And that's what we need to start doing. Start asking for stuff to be cheaper. And into the comments. There we go. Oh, fair bit of comments in here today. Hey, Cam. I know I said hi to you earlier, man. And then James is here. Local learning. Whereabouts are you from, local learning? Are you down in the States or are you Canadian? 150 liters gas. Yeah, that sounds like you're Canadian. That sounds like you're Canadian. $150 for 70 liters of gas. Yeah, that's was here. It's about $1.79 a liter. It's $1.79.9. So $1.80 a liter. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And then 2.4s here. Hey, 2.4. Pat. No, deadly. Well, thanks for tuning in. I'm from Manitoba. I'm just simple Manitoba redneck, trying to get the word out. I've been doing this for the last 3-4 months, this new strip down. And I don't know, I seem to enjoy it. I feel it's more important out there than people just sitting there doing live streams, just talking about nothing. And this is real news. I write every day for this show. So yeah, I put actually time and effort into this. Not so much the internet part of it, but writing and stuff, and mostly things that are important to Canadians too. But that was yesterday's show, so I implore you to go back to yesterday's show because there's more Canadian stuff on that episode. But just the way the news came out today, and it is what it is. I'm not going to talk about Iran. I'm not going to talk about school shootings. I'm not going to talk about Epstein. I keep all that nonsense out of this. Real news. But, anyways, I'm going to go for a cigarette and start cooking the wife's supper. So, but I don't know what I'm going to cook. Mystery meat. Just like what we're getting now. Okay. Thanks for popping in, you guys. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow for Friday's show, 4 to 4:30 p.m. Central Time. Don't forget to hit the like button. It doesn't kill you. It doesn't hurt. Doesn't do anything to you. And then hit the like subscribe button too. Doesn't hurt you. Doesn't do anything. Just turn off the notifications. But the like button and subscribe button actually really do help. So close to 1,000 subs. And I've been here since what, 2013? Not doing the new strip down, but on YouTube. So close to that 1,000 subs. But I'd only be making like not even enough to pay the internet bill, whatever. But anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and thanks you guys for popping in. And if there's anything you guys want me to talk about, please leave in the comments after. Stuff like that. Yeah, it is about community. Thank you, Tracy. That's awesome. Um, but yeah, if you guys anything you guys want me to talk about, especially if you're from Canada, please leave in the comments after, and I will definitely get to them. I get the Tolga stuff too, but we talk on a different plane. I, I swear Tolga was reading my mind today. He sent me a bunch of articles, and I was like, dude, I'm literally writing about this. I swear he's my scanner darkly. Oh, it's so funny. Okay, peace out, you guys. Love you all.